Brother Dana, brother mine, delivers you best worst case scenario podcast.
Yeah, crabby things. There's big crabs too, spider crabs from Japan.
Man, why does
Their
everything
legs?
creepy come from Japan?
Everything.
Like, slow down, Japan, with your creepy monsters.
But it's kind of balanced because the people are kind of cute, right?
I guess so. And they
Little
got
cute.
Totoro.
Oh,
I'll give
yo,
'em that.
katemasu ka? Oh, I like you.
Yeah, I bet you guys didn't know Dana spoke Japanese.
Yeah.
Um,
But spider crabs from Japan, they have big ass legs that are like 12 feet long, but they've got little bodies. So they're kind of like long daddies at the sea.
Long daddies? You mean daddy long legs?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
The long daddy over there.
Long daddy.
Yeah.
But
That's
crabs.
huge, man. And
It is.
That's scary. They
And you know what else is huge is coconut crabs.
I can call you Coconut Kenny, man. What are you talking about?
Coconut crabs are big too.
Sounds delicious. What are those?
They climb up coconut trees and jump on people.
Never mind. Burn them, man.
Actually, they don't jump on you, but they're big. They're big fuckers that probably...
They can climb?
Yeah.
Like a spider?
Yeah. On land. It's really creepy. And they're 3 feet wide. Like as long as my arms. And they could have eaten or killed Amelia Earhart. I was like, Amelia!
He did. He was there.
Yeah. Earhart. She was a woman, and she flew airplanes for a living and wrote stories, books. She gave lectures. She did everything. She was a pioneer in everything she did.
She was basically a female Indiana Jones, man. She was a badass.
And a badass for her time, too, because nobody...
No asses were that bad then, is what Dana's saying, right?
Yeah, especially women. Like, because women didn't have as many rights back then.
This was she was born in 1890s?
1897.
Okay.
July 24th.
Man, stalker.
I know everything about her. I follow her deceased page on Facebook.
Jeez.
Wait for them photos.
That was dark.
And no, she was born in 1897, and during that time, in the like this era,
The early 1900s.
the early 19
1990s.
1990s, the 1900s.
I'm all fucked up.
Yeah, you are. You know, women.
I do know some women.
They didn't have too many rights at the time, or they weren't exactly allowed to do too many things men did.
Right.
And she really pushed she pushed the envelope and the rules of,
yeah,
like she broke down barriers and walls for women.
She kicked doors down.
She helped form like even a giant, like this huge organization for women who wanted to fly but didn't have the money or power. And so she helped form, she was like the president for it and got it going, you know? So she did all these really cool things in a short amount of time.
Yeah, she's also kind of reminds me of Alice from Alice in Wonderland, because she like was all about adventure, and she totally broke the norms. She was a tomboy. Was she married? I don't know if she was.
She did get married, supposedly out of convenience, just like everybody does.
Wow, man.
Hey,
hold back the bitter there,
hey,
man.
You looks better on your taxes. You get more money back. You can claim, you know how it works.
Answers awkward questions.
Uncle Sham, he fucking encourages people to get married. Oh my God, you know who would be a great Amelia? They should make a new Amelia Earhart movie. And guess who plays Amelia? Mila Jovovich. Doesn't she kind of look like her a little bit? I mean, not look like her, but it seems like she could pass as a character.
I think you're right. I think she could possibly play that role.
I think she'd be fine as a plain Jane. Not too much makeup, because Mila though.
Dana, that was so funny.
Mila,
did you do that on purpose?
Who?
A plain Jane.
Actually, that's pretty fucking good. No, I didn't. Because Mila Jovovich would make a great Amelia, because she does have that tomboyish look. Son of a bitch, I can't talk right.
It's okay, man. I'm gonna save you.
My words are just flying right out of my mouth before they're fully formed.
I want to go get Dana checked out after this.
Before they're fully formed, I did just flying out of my mouth.
So, Amelia Earhart, when did she first get on the map? Oh my god, this is too easy, man. These puns, they're just dropping from the sky.
She first, she got on the map internationally, at least in 1928, I believe.
Why?
Because she was allowed as the first woman to fly with these two other pilots across the Atlantic.
Wait, you're telling me this lady rode on a plane with two guys across the Atlantic?
Two guys and Amelia.
And she's a passenger, and she gets famous for being the passenger?
Or a hostage. But yes, she does get famous for being a passenger because she's a lady.
Man, women's rights must have been really dark back then.
Yeah, because she flew with two pilots. That's how she got her fame internationally. And these two pilots had promised her to have a chance at the controls.
They promised she would be able to?
Yeah. And they did not allow her to use anything.
Oh my
And guess how long this flight was?
Son of a bitches.
20 hours and 40 fucking minutes. She had to sit there.
Man, that's terrible for her though.
Oh yeah, I know. The shit she had to sit through. The shit she had to go through. But it wasn't in vain, because after that flight, she was on the fucking map.
Literally, because in 1932, I believe, she gained worldwide fame as the first woman to fly across the Atlantic Ocean, wait for it, solo. No one else on the plane. She's at the controls. She's at the helm, fucking burning through the clouds across the world.
She is earning and burning. She did the unthinkable. Like
you can't think of what she did?
Fuck you. It just blew. The amount of balls that lady had,
so many,
were bigger than most guys, man. She got in this heavy ass steel plane and flew, I think it was 15 hours straight. She didn't have another, co-pilot to help take a break like we do in commercial airliners. I was fatigued, sitting on my flight for 16 hours, and I wasn't even flying it. I got to close my eyes. She had to fight fatigue. She had a cracked manifold, so there was fucking flame coming out the engine.
She had a cracked what?
A cracked manifold.
So she had flames coming out her engine?
All over. Not only that, but there was a point where the ice started to freeze the wings, and it forced the plane down.
What's wrong with... Oh, because of the extra weight of the ice?
The extra
Or they
ice.
couldn't bend. They couldn't flex and bend.
Yeah, basically the ice froze them, so it forced her down, and just above the waves. It stopped right there, and she was flying right above the waves.
And then it melted, and she was able to get back up.
And then she just made it, barely.
But she didn't. Because...
No, she did.
Oh.
I'm talking about...
Oh, I'm sorry. I jumped ahead.
Yeah, we're talking about
Spoiler,
the Atlantic flight, man. You're
getting ahead of myself.
You're way too ahead. You're eager for her to fucking fall off the map, man. We're talking about her just getting on it.
But let's talk about it. Amelia Earhart.
Amelia
Earhart's most
Amelia
ambitious project was her attempt to circumnavigate the globe, and she tried to do that in 1937. But unfortunately, on July 2nd of that year, during the final leg of her journey, she and her navigator, Fred Noonan, they disappeared over the Central Pacific Ocean. I think it was near the Howland Island. And
Right.
Yeah, go ahead.
The Howland Island is where they were headed to fuel up, but the radio signal wasn't coming in. They were reaching out, but nobody was coming back to tell them where they were, and according to the Howland Island. So
You mean the Howland Island wasn't contacting them to tell them where they were?
yeah, because
Where the island was?
Yeah.
So Amelia
Land.
and them
Yeah.
could find it.
yes, because navigation was still kind of up in the air at that time.
So maybe it was island time, and they're like,
Yeah, basically they didn't communicate, and they weren't able to land on Howland.
so they skipped it because they couldn't find it.
Yeah, they skipped it and fucking died.
Those Howland motherfuckers.
Potentially. Maybe they didn't die. But Fred Noonan and her, they're a good duo.
Yeah.
Fred Noonan was an amazing navigator, aeronautical.
Not good enough.
I guess so. That is true. That's a good point. Actually, I think it is on Fred Noonan.
Choose your friends, guys. Yeah, so despite the extensive search efforts, no conclusive evidence of their whereabouts was ever found. So we know.
So we know.
That we know of.
Right. But I don't know about conclusive. I mean, depends on what you mean by conclusive.
Conclusive, like we found their plane, or because there's some rumors about it, right?
There's several rumors, and she's almost like the holy grail of missing people. Like everybody.
Forget Waldo. If you can find Amelia Earhart, you're
Then
a fucking legend.
You're probably also going to find some other loot and maybe aliens too.
What makes you say that?
I think, if I'm not mistaken, she had flown through the Bermuda Triangle, and there's some speculation that fucked with her navigation.
Okay.
Oh, navigation.
You know what? Actually, though, I looked this up because I thought that too. I was like, you know what? The Bermuda is weird. But I looked it up.
And it's full of shit.
No, this is it. They went down in the Central Pacific Ocean, right? The
Yeah.
Bermuda Triangle, also known as the Devil's Triangle, is a loosely defined region in the western part of the North Atlantic Ocean, located thousands of miles away from the area where Amelia Earhart and her plane were
Right.
supposed to have disappeared.
Wow, you just completely discredited my
Fucking
information.
fact checked.
Yeah.
Get that shit out of here.
Okay.
But I will say that the Bermuda Triangle is so fucking weird. I wouldn't doubt if it like jumped over to the Atlantic, because it's that fucking weird, man. So you might be right.
That's pretty creepy. If an island could jump,
It's not an island.
or
A triangle?
if the triangle could jump,
If a triangle could jump, that would be really fucking weird, man.
what the fuck? It sounds like, no, I don't mean a triangle. I mean like it's a Stargate type thing. It's a portal.
Exactly.
The triangle jumped to their location, and it teleported them to like a different planet that
Exactly.
didn't have any oxygen, and they died instantly.
Okay, but
Like that.
it is exactly like
Like a
Alice in
mole.
Wonderland. Like she could be, she's not dead. Amelia Earhart is off saving another world, and she has to battle a Jabberwocky, but eventually she'll come back to us.
We can only hope. But yeah, the Howland, they couldn't locate it, and there's a lot of theories of what happened.
I just think it's super cool she went down in the Pacific, because it reminds me a lot of BioShock. Like, she went down to see Andrew Ryan, where the great are not constrained by the small, where a man is entitled to the sweat of his brow. Rapture.
Damn, I want to play that game now. That was fucking cool. How'd you do that? You
Man.
just became Andrew Ryan right in front of me. More like Andrew Mayan.
Andrew Ryan. That's just a dumb name.
No, it's not. Actually, Andrew Myatt.
I'm sorry to the Andrews. Andrews, I love you.
Yeah, but it would be. It's the whole missing person thing with her is really. It's almost romantic. She was just awesome and a pioneer in everything, and she was good looking, and she had her own fashion line going. Like, she was balling in every area and then disappeared. So people can just imagine what happened to her. But there's no, it's like whatever you want happened to her. But more than likely she was eaten by some crabs. She got crabs.
Some of them coconut crabs, but
some crabs got her.
It's sad because no one wants to die by crabs.
Well, I hope that she died before the crabs got her, and then the crabs got her.
Like just from crashing or drowning or
something.
Shark
fast.
attack, anything but the crabs.
No, not the shark attack. That's kind of fucked up too, man.
Dude, it's better than crabs.
No.
Getting pinched to death. Like, fuck, that hurt, man.
No, I'm talking about like just crashing from dying from the crash or drowning.
Pancaking it.
I'm saying that's better than shark or crabs.
Okay.
So we have a few theories here. The first one, which is the most accepted among historians and mainstreamers, is the crash and sink method. Crash and sink. The crash and sink.
Dana killed Amelia Earhart. I'm saying it.
The crash and sink method, which Amelia Earhart was fantastic at. She perfected the crash and sink method. Most widely accepted is that she crashed and sunk.
What? Really? Thanks for explaining that, Dana.
Historians can agree that she did crash and she likely did sink.
They don't think she would have been able to get out of the plane?
Well, if she did, which is where it takes us to a place called Gardner Island, which isn't Howland Island. That's where supposedly her and Fred Noonan made it to, crashed in the water and swam to. It was like this uninhabited island that was kind of small. And just made base camp and hoped hope they could find some buried rum there. I hope they did.
It was a romantic Pirates of the Caribbean scenario.
Pretty much.
So, yeah, because I feel like if she crashed into the ocean, she could have got out of the plane, and I'm assuming they had life vests. Like, they had planes. They better have had life vests in the 1920s, right? So
I don't think so.
What?
I don't think they had life vests.
They didn't know how to float then?
They could probably fucking swim. I bet they did.
A life vest seems like something you'd have on your plane if you're driving around, flying around the world.
I don't know if they had those in the 1930s.
Yeah, I'm sure they did. If they had planes, they had life vests, man.
I don't know.
Come on.
I feel like they could have been like...
You're fucking gaslighting me,
I
man.
feel like
you know they had life vests.
I don't know. They could have been like death vests, man, because they tech. Probably sunk you.
Sunk you very much.
Sunk you very much. Yeah, so the second theory from the crash and sink method that they died was this Gardner Island, which actually, if you fast forward a little bit, there is this Navy, this like ex-Navy submariner guy, I think his name, David Jordan. He spent fucking $5 million trying to find Amelia Earhart.
$5 million?
Yeah, it was like, I want to say a few different expeditions that covered.
Did he know her?
No, he just wanted to find her.
He's just a big fan.
Too big.
But maybe he was like doing it as a humanitarian thing of like, I'm going to find this chick for the whole world who's wondering.
He specialized in deep sea discovery. So it's like he was trying to prove to the whole community that he could fucking find Bigfoot. He could find Amelia Earhart.
You know, Amelia Earhart and Bigfoot. Bigfoot out there. Amelia Earhart and Bigfoot. They are in the same realm of mythical missing things.
Just like Waldo.
Like, I don't know which one's more likely to find.
That's good. You might find Amelia Earhart hiding behind a tree in the woods, and you might see Bigfoot flying a plane. Who fucking knows?
Yeah. Anything's possible.
It is. In the Twilight Zone.
Okay, so tell me your other theories so I can tear them apart, man.
Well, initially, like the Gardner Island investigation by this guy with a bunch of money, he covered 1,200 miles of sea there. But just because that was in 2002 and 2006, so somewhat recently compared to her disappearance in, what was it, 1930?
Jesus, man. Talk about a cold case. He was like 100 years too late.
Yeah.
He didn't think she'd be fishy food by then?
Well, he's looking for the wreckage, not her.
I feel like in 100 years, though, wouldn't the wreckage be covered in barnacles and like...
That's probably partly why they haven't been able to find it. But if you rewind again, like this is a Christopher Nolan film, we go back to the time of her disappearance, July 2nd, late 30s. Navy planes actually were looking for her on that island, and they found signs of recent habitation.
Okay, so you're telling me...
What?
You're telling me that maybe she got there, stayed out for a little bit, had some fires,
had some brewskis,
had some parties, and then was like, okay.
And then called an Uber.
I've made a raft with the island's trees. Now I'm going to try to get off of here. And then from there, she didn't make it.
Yeah. Potentially, she just starved to death on the island.
Wouldn't they find bones if she starved? Plus...
Not exactly. Not if those coconut crabs had other plans for her bones.
Well, I was just going to say, you got all that seafood. Like, those coconut crabs coming at me, I'd be like, ooh, some crab dinner. You know? If they're, like you said, 3 feet long or whatever. That's
3 feet wide.
That's like eating crab for days, man.
3 feet wide coming at you.
That's like an all-you-can-eat crab buffet.
Crab buffet, I know. Seafood platter, seafood.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
The appetizer.
So, like, starving with a bunch of that stuff around.
See, the interesting thing is they did find fucking bones on Gardner. But back then, their method for analyzing bones was kind of shitty. And they supposed that these bones belonged to a European male. But
she did kind of look like a little boy.
Exactly. That's what people speculate. She's a little boy. A little tomboy. And so they're like, because the height of this European man was kind of short, kind of matched her height. And they're like, okay, send the bones to Fiji and we'll do further investigation. But once they got there, the bones magically disappeared.
They ate them. I'm sorry.
Oh, Fiji? Oh, is that a cannibal joke?
They have some cannibalism history, but
they do love their marrow.
You know, everyone's got a dark past, so.
But the bones disappeared. So what does that say? Maybe government cover up. Maybe the government fucking offed Amelia Earhart.
Ooh. So the government was like, you know what? This woman is a beacon for other women with human rights. She's cashing checks, breaking necks, flying around the world, inspiring other women. We can't have this. We're going to sabotage her plane, bring down her thing. But why hide the bones then?
To keep people off the trail of finding out how she really died.
So they wanted to hide the bones because they knew that if they found the bones, they might find the wreckage close by. And the wreckage would reveal that they sabotaged the plane, hence they can't have that.
Exactly. You could make a good movie, man. You know the plot. That's a thick plot.
It's always the government, though.
Isn't it? For everything. We've got some other ideas here.
You know, I think that's the most believable, is that one you just said about the Gardner Island.
Well, no, yeah, I'm going to get a little bit more into it. So another, I guess the second, so the Gardner one was sort of like this loose idea that some people agree on, but just the crash and sink thing is what most boring historians agree on. But the TIGHAR, the International Group for Historic Aircraft Recovery, in 1988, they sent out 11 expeditions to try and recover some wreckage at Gardner Island, which was probably the most extensive yet. And artifacts were discovered, and this is what they found. A woman's shoe. Weirdly cut plexiglass. An aluminum An aluminum.
Uma Thurman?
An Uma Thurman.
What?
Filming Kill Bill. Aluminum pan.
A little bit of aluminum.
They found an aluminum panel and improvised tools that were made up. But this aluminum panel was the thing that stuck out because it was the same dimensions and rivet bolt pattern as part of the panel on the plane, the Lockheed Model 10A that she took off on. There's a picture of her plane, and there's the piece of this metal, and it matches the plane on this island.
That sounds pretty conclusive, but
doesn't it?
Also, I'm no Sherlock, but I feel like you could just get that one shoe and be like, what size is this shoe? Let's talk to her family or her doctors or whatever, people who knew her, people who knew her, and ask her what size shoe she wore.
She wore a size 9 and a size 10. She had 2 different size feet.
Seriously. And just be like, oh, it's the fucking same size. It was her.
Maybe those records were lost, just like her bones. But the woman's shoe was size 9, so they knew the size of the shoe. But it didn't. I don't know. It's like fucking Dorothy, Cinderella.
Like, didn't they have other shoes she used to wear and just be like, what size were those?
Exactly. It's just very weird.
It's the lazy detectives, man.
Yeah, because of government. But anyways, that one I just told you about, how they found that aluminum panel is the most plausible. And then let's get into the deeper conspiracy theories here. We got runner-up Japanese capture because she was an undercover spy for Franklin D. Roosevelt, and she was on a secret mission to go spy on Japan for the U.S. No, it's a speculation that could have happened, and the Japanese captured her and killed her.
What if she wasn't a spy and they still just captured her and killed her?
That's also possible. Moving on.
Seems more likely.
We've got
to me.
She could have just created a new identity because she was tired of being Amelia Earhart.
Yeah, I'm so tired of being famous and a national icon and fucking breaking records every day of my life.
But honestly, I think the way it ends, the way that I want it to end, is that she crashed on Gardner, potentially starved to death, or Fred knew.
That's what you want?
I mean, I don't want it to happen to her, but how I imagine it could have probably played out is she died from starvation, or Fred Noonan took her out so he could survive a little longer. And then the giant crabs kind of took him to pieces, pinched them up to pieces, both of the bodies, and kind of spread them all over the place. And
took one shoe. Those fucking crabs.
Yeah, because the coconut crabs, they're like super fucking powerful, man.
Sounds like you're talking about a Pokemon, man.
They are.
Coconut crab.
They're like, yeah. They weigh over 10 pounds, which doesn't sound like a lot.
10 pounds?
Yeah.
That's like a fucking fat cat. It's a fat cat.
Yeah. Well, this is going to give you a heart attack about how much they can pinch. The force, 740 pounds of force.
Would that chop off your finger?
It could. They could fucking mince you up. That force is comparable to the bite force of a lion. These coconut crabs.
So definitely could chop off your fingers.
Yeah. Basically 5 times the strength of a human bite. As hard as you can bite down, it could bite 5 times stronger than that.
Do these coconut crabs hang out in gangs and packs?
They do. I've seen it.
They hunt together?
Yeah, usually hunting coconuts, not people, though.
They eat coconuts?
Well, I think so. I'd like to imagine. Though they hang out in coconut trees, which is terrifying. If you ever imagine waking up to a coconut crab,
or grabbing one, like, I'm gonna have a coconut. Fuck, it's a giant crab.
I know. I gotta show you pictures of them real quick. You gotta see how terrifying these things are. They look like the things from Pacific Rim. Damn it.
Oh shit. Yeah, guys. Imagine you have a hermit crab, and then imagine like they do some nuclear testing like with Godzilla, and then the hermit crab grew like 1,000 times bigger. That's what these things look like.
Yeah. And imagine you're like, you just crashed in your plane on this island. Maybe you didn't break anything, but you're kind of weak. And there's like 5 of these things coming at you. And you can't sleep for very long in one spot before they get to you. So you're constantly moving, and then you just get exhausted and they get you.
Okay, I hear your point, man. I still feel like I could, if push came to shove, I could brawl with one of these and knock them out.
I don't know,
and
man.
Eat their crab meat and regain my power, you know?
And then you'd turn into Crab Man.
Yeah, and I just gain strength the more crabs I ate.
And then the crabs would be scared of you.
Yeah, then I'd hunt them in their ocean.
Crab people. Well, I think the only way to do that would be to fucking get behind it with like a giant boulder and just smash. Even with throwing a boulder on it, like as hard as you can.
That's what I mean. Even if you had shoes on, just stomp on them.
I think
Squish that crap.
Really fucking dense.
Okay, man. Fine.
You'd have to.
These crabs are invincible.
I don't know if they're invincible, but you'd have to get creative with how you killed them. I think you'd probably want to drop a big rock on them, and then keep it stuck there, and then just like get a spear and just stab the shit out of the fucking face.
Jesus, man.
And then break its claws behind its back.
Oh my god.
And then gut the thing. Cut its neck right open with this.
If this wasn't a crab, man, we'd have to cut this out.
I feel like that's the only way. And then, for good measure, you set that fucker on fire. Because who knows if it's going to come back. It's like each one of these things is like the thing with Kurt Russell.
Yeah, and I could imagine if you were asleep on a sandy beach, waking up to a bunch of these coming out like Pirates of the Caribbean ghost pirates at night for you.
Yeah.
Like, would be fucking scary. And you can't even climb to get away from them because they can climb.
Right. It's just, you're stuck in hell if you're stuck on this little island with all these crabs who are just slow, but they're coming at you. Like, god damn it, what a way to go. Like, at that point, I think I would just get in the water and start swimming and just be like, and then just like, you know, drown.
Yeah.
Drown or get pinched to death.
Okay, well, you've said the one you think happened. I think for me, I think I'm going to have to go with sharks.
Shark in the water.
Sharks, because I think that if she did crash, she would have maybe made it out of the plane at least. Dude, you know what? I know I talked a bunch of shit about it, but I think the crash and sink makes a lot of sense, because if you hit the water going really fast, you'd probably get a concussion. And just those few minutes or however long you're knocked out for, that could be enough time for you to drop to like a pressure where the plane would either like collapse or there'd be no chance in hell that you're going to get those doors open.
Yeah, but I feel like if they were going down, if they were running out of fuel, they would be able to get it low enough to where they just kind of skip on the water and glide maybe. Or they fucking landed it really hard on the island and got fucked up.
Man, I don't know what to think.
The plane she flew, though, I don't know if it did crash on the water, like you were saying. Like, it might not have had a good catch to get out of in that event. Because this thing was a beast that she flew. Like, if you ever played Crimson Skies on Xbox, the original Xbox, it was like one of those beastly planes that was just like a tank in the air. So, poor Amelia. Well, we don't know what happened to her. We probably never will.
Maybe.
But we can only guess.
I think that's a good point to wrap up Amelia Earhart's journey, which was cut short as far as we know, unfortunately.
Yeah. Talked about how she got on the map and then how she fell off.
A true icon in American history and for women's rights, I would say.
And eye candy for some.
Dana's smitten.
She's cool. She's a badass, you know? She's just seemed like a cool lady. Just looking at her because of the amount of stuff she went through. She's always like smiling in her photos.
Yeah. So, listeners, if you have any theories about what you think happened to Amelia Earhart, let us know. Drop a comment. And if you're watching on YouTube, remember to like and subscribe.
Yes.
And we do this for you.
We really do appreciate your support and your ear. Both of them.
This has been Best Worst Case Scenario Podcast. I'm your host, Mayan.
I'm your host, Dana.
And we will catch you in the next episode.
Cheerio.